Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of the Uptown Experts podcast. I'm Clyde Bryant, and I'm here today with Johnny Suppa and Danny Cardoso.
What's going on, Clyde?
Gentlemen,
How we doing?
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, this is long overdue, first of all.
Yeah, we've been planning this for a couple of years now.
A few years in the making, right?
Yeah.
Like, and every time we saw each other, it's like, okay, we got to make this happen, right?
There's a couple people that we always see at events or conferences, and you're always one of them.
Yeah, it's like, I got to get on the show. I got to get on your show. Let's make it happen.
And we finally made it happen, right?
Yeah.
So I'm happy we did because it's I think it's important that we take the time to really expose or give the opportunity for you guys to just talk about what you do, give some exposure to the business,
But also to see also to see other brokers endorsing other brokers.
of course,
Right. Like
But that's what it's about,
Yeah.
right? The power of collaboration, right? And I've said it before in other episodes. There's something to be said about being or wanting and willing to collaborate with other brokers and not looking at it as competition.
Well, I mean, at our brokerage, we have quite a number of agents, and we bring up the fact that, like, if you guys ever walked outside your home and looked left and looked right,
Yeah.
right? And how many homes are on your street? 100 of them? Well, out of the 100, 1 out of 5 of them is going to have a mortgage this year, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of homes there, man.
There's a
so
lot
you don't
of
got to worry
homes.
about competing because you can't do all those mortgages.
No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
My business is my business. Your business is your business. But like I've said before, and I'll say it again, if you're able to pick up the phone and call an Uptown client and have a better conversation, well, then that's not an Uptown client. We haven't done our job.
I was just going to say, yeah.
And it's the same thing that, any bank would say, a TD, Scotia. That's why there's many banks, like there's many mortgage brokerages, right? And
That's why McDonald's is beside Wendy's.
Thank you, right?
And Coca-Cola machine is beside a Pepsi machine.
Exactly, right? It's about choice,
Yeah.
right? Because everybody does things a little bit different, but it's understanding what makes Yournesta special, right? What do you guys bring to the table, and who is or what does the Yournesta client look like, right? And everybody would say, we can service everybody. Okay, we could all service everybody, but what does that look like? What do you guys specialize in? Let's talk about that.
So as a brokerage
Yeah.
and what we specialize in, I guess we'll turn away from the actual client, but look at more towards the agents. And as of right now, I think we specialize in starting an agent from ground zero and making them become an agent where they can actually, what's the word I'm looking for?
Succeed?
Succeed in the business.
Yeah, which is a very difficult thing to do.
It is. It was a gap that was missing, right? No brokers are training agents.
No, not a lot.
They're not taking them and bringing them in and saying, okay, you got to build your brand, you got to build your business, you got to find unique value propositions, you got to separate yourself, you have to understand the business.
Yeah.
And even to go like, what does a client look like? It's no different than what an agent looks like. We design our avatars.
Exactly.
We say, I'm going after this type of client, and that's what Yournesta's client looks like. I'm going after these types of agents, and that's what Yournesta agents look like. Our team is comprised of very like-minded, similar-looking individuals. Not physically looking. But we're all the same. We all have the same minds, same mindsets, same ambition,
Yes.
same drive. And then it's up to the agents themselves on what their clients look like. Because some might want to work on refi, some might want to work on a specific demographic. That's just your clientele is Uptown's clientele. It's what your avatar, it's what you specialize in, right? So it's everybody's is different.
Exactly. So I know we kind of dove like straight in, but let me take us a step back, right? So why don't we talk a little bit about, first of all, who you guys are, right? We know that you're mortgage broker owners because we kind of gave that one away. So maybe Danny, you start. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
Yeah, so I guess Johnny started Yournesta Financial back in 2018-19. I came on board 2021 with him as Johnny had just decided to join DLC. I jumped on board in 2021. we then decided together that we wanted to grow the brokerage. And I guess as a broker owner, you really got to decide where you're going to go with the brokerage. Because I felt like if you want to open a brokerage, or do you just want to be a broker that owns a brokerage?
Brokerage, yes.
And we figured, well, let's start with, let's see how the path goes with training agents. And that's sort of the path that we sort of went. And that's where we're at right now. So we're at, I don't know, 20 something, getting close to 30 agents.
That's good.
In 3 years. And now we're starting to really pick up steam. So
that's very good. And training is a hard thing to do, a hard thing to commit to.
So it was very hard at the beginning. And Johnny did a lot of the training. And I can see Johnny getting very frustrated. And I'm like, we got to fix this if we're going to keep moving forward. And at the time, we probably had 3, 4, 5 agents. And we're like, can we still go this route? Like, should we still go this route? Because it's a difficult path.
Yes.
It looks hard. And I sort of understand why people say, stay away, stay away, stay away. So it's like, how do we make it easy for us to keep growing?
How do you scale?
And we started automating.
Right. And I think that's what Danny's perfection is. Like we talked about earlier, he figures it out before you figure it out. Like he would watch. It's like, oh, Johnny's frustrated. Like, it's hard training agents, man, because getting people to do things is extremely difficult. Getting people to understand habits and disciplines that this business isn't just show up and just twiddle your thumbs. It's like, okay, well, someone's going to call me today. No, man, if you're not on people's call logs, you're not getting any calls back.
You mean I can't just get a license and get mortgage business?
That's what some people think, yeah.
Well, don't you give me leads?
No. I mean, yeah, we can do leads, yeah. I'm going to spend millions of dollars on marketing so you can get the business. Not a problem. Go work at a car dealership. Right?
You know? And they see these people dancing on TikTok, all these brokers dancing on TikTok.
think it's
like,
easy.
it's going to be easy. Like,
Yeah,
right?
of course. That's what you do.
So when we started the brokerage, a lot of what we were doing was the training. So being like in sales and marketing, I've been doing this for 20 something years. This is not something I just started yesterday. I started knocking on doors when I was 18.
Really?
Yeah.
What did the first job look like?
ADT security.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, prior to that, like in high school, I was an entrepreneur. I had started a couple, I had started a clothing company with a friend of mine. We played with that for a bit. Obviously I learned a lot of lessons. We failed. And then I started a closet company. We were doing closets and doors and showers. Started that company and I failed. So I learned a lot from that. Trusting partners, building. And then I got my first real job was knocking on doors. I answered an ad in a newspaper. I went to this training room. They sold me on ADT in this big company owned by Tyco. And then they started showing me scripts. And I was like rehearsing this script, and practicing. And then one day, okay, guys, we're going out. I'm like, where are we going?
Where are we going?
I had no clue. Jumped in this van, drove out to Mississauga, and they're like, okay, that's your street. Go knock on doors, say your pitch. When you get in the house, call me and say that you have to check in with your manager, and we'll come in and close the deal for you. I'm like, I'm not knocking on doors. Like my ego just came up. Like I was like, I'm Johnny Suppa. I don't knock on doors. Like it's crazy. It's probably the greatest job I ever had.
But you went door knocking.
For 5 years.
Best thing you could ever do.
Yeah, it was the greatest experience. And I took that and then I got into the car business shortly after. Succeeded at that. That's really what changed my life. I had a good mentor. I learned good disciplines. I understood business, understood finance. I did finance for a lot of years in the car industry. And then from there, in late 2017, 2015, I kind of quit. I retired the car business. I was like, I'm done with this. I didn't want to do it anymore. And 2017, 2018, I studied for my license and got my broker license. When I got in the industry, I was like, every brokerage that I went to go interview at all said the same thing to me. You'll come in, 80-20 split. Let me know when you got to pull credit.
That doesn't sound like training.
No. And I was like, okay, but how? But that's what it is. That's what it was like for me. And I interviewed like 5 or 6 different brokers, and I went to some of the big names too. And they're like, yeah, Johnny, like, just come on in and we'll teach you things. And then I joined one brokerage. She was awesome. And I was learning the business. I'm like, this is dinosaur age. Like there's so much technology. How do you not have a CRM?
Yeah.
Why does your calendar have sticky notes on it? Like, and I get it. It was a process that worked, but for me, I was like, this is crazy.
It's antiquated. It's old.
It was.
I'm sorry.
And then when Danny decided to get his license and then we got in contact, we've been friends since high school, and I was one afternoon we were chatting. I was like, Danny, you want to do this venture? You want to go on this with me? And he's like, yeah, I'll do this with you. And I was like, cool. We joined DLC. And then we decided to take what we knew, and the business we're in is the mortgage business. That's a byproduct of the service we offer. We're in sales and marketing.
Yeah, of course.
That's the business we're in. And so we took that and we started training. And then one thing led to another. It was like, okay, Johnny, we got to put that into a course. So he figured it out while we were figuring it out. It was like, okay, we got to do this. So to say who we are, I kind of like put the thoughts out there, and Danny's like, he puts it in
figure
order.
out how to put it together.
The way his brain works when it comes to process and steps and figuring things out, it's pretty wild.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. And it gives us a little bit of insight into the mind, right? The analytical mind.
Well, that's the easy part. That's the shiny stuff. There's a lot of hard shit that we go through.
Oh, the lessons, the lessons that we learn.
The day in and day out grind, the sleepless nights, the risks that are on our shoulders. Like a lot of the times when you're putting a lot of energy into agents,
and they take a hell of a lot of energy.
yeah,
Well,
they do.
I mean, at one point we were like available to them. I remember taking calls at like 9:30 at night with these agents.
Yeah.
And I showed up at the office one day and I'm like, Johnny, it's got to stop. Like
There's
these
gotta be
calls,
some
these
sort of-
late like calls.
We were
and
enabling
fucking
too much.
And okay, it's a new process.
New
Got to
rules.
change it. How do we get them to call us less, but still get the same or feel like they're getting the same, if not more, from us?
Yeah.
That's where I feel like we changed that as a brokerage.
That's where the biggest shift happened.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. When we decided to enable less, but we gave more because of the automated processes, video tutorials. Like when we started creating those videos and tutorials and the trainings and the how-tos, it eliminated the 9 o'clock phone calls.
Yeah.
Where this is, I got a family, we both have young kids, right? So family time is very important. Checking out, and actually Danny had to teach me that. Because in my head, I was still in the car industry.
You were always plugged in.
I was always, like I'm obsessed, right? I that's when people ask me, like, I have an addiction to obsession. I'm obsessed when it comes to my work.
I'm not sure I've heard that one before. I'll give that one to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I say people haven't heard before. But I have this addiction to being obsessed with whatever it is I need to know, I have to know. And I think it has to do with my upbringing. As a kid, I didn't, like, I was in martial arts for a long time, and I was this close to stardom, but I didn't get there. And then at ADT, I was this close to stardom, I didn't get there. In the car business, I was this close to stardom, I didn't get there. And I think it had to do with I wasn't obsessed enough. So I think now that I always knew in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm more than this, like that, which is why I always had to be the owner of something, or as they call it now, an entrepreneur. I think it's an overused term, right? Business for self.
Yeah.
I knew that I had to be the owner and I had to be in business for myself, but I knew that in order for me to get to that next level, I had to be obsessed, or I had to be addicted to the obsession.
Yeah. It has to be what you do, who you are.
Eat, sleep, and shit this stuff.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day. Every minute of every day.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's as
But
you
at
like
the same time, and this is what I've been trying to, or
Help.
have taught them, is you have to separate yourself at some point, and you have to give your time to your family.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned. Like Danny's like, dude, like when you go home, just be home. I'm like, no, I got to read another book. I got to learn more. I got to.
Well, you can still do that.
You can.
When they sleep.
Yeah,
Yes.
Or
So,
when they're out.
That's
or
my
whatever,
thing.
right?
Like I won't say 7 days out of the week, but let's say I get home at 5 or 6 or whatever time I show up at home. I give that time until they go to bed, and I either might follow them to bed, or chances are I end up downstairs back on the computer. Give me an hour.
Yeah.
Let me kill off an hour or two, or whatever the case is, and that's it. But then done.
But for
That's my
the longest time, the guilt was like, you're sitting here and you're watching Netflix. You shouldn't be doing that, Johnny. The books that you read don't say you should.
It's like a guilty indulgence
it
if
is.
I turn on the TV.
It is, it
I'm
is.
like, oh my God, am I wasting time? I should be reading something. I should be answering an email. Ashley's gonna get mad if I don't, then but yeah, it's real.
You
right?
know, my wife says, she's like, why are you huffing and puffing? I'm like, because I should be working.
Yeah. Like I can't sit here. Do you want me to do nothing? I can't do nothing, right? Yeah,
So
I'm
I'm
on my
sitting,
phone, right?
I'm watching a show. I'm like, 5 minutes. She's like, what are you huffing and puffing about? Brain's still thinking. I'm
Yeah.
not checked out yet.
Yeah.
So it's
There's something to be said about being able to find that.
I'm trying. It's been 6 years now. Me and Danny have been together for 3, and I'm trying. I'm getting a lot better though. Like Saturdays and Sundays, forget you will. You can call my phone 100 times, I won't answer.
Yeah, me and Johnny used to have like 20 conversations throughout the weekend for sure. Now I might we might check out at Friday at 5 by the time we leave the office. I don't think we make a phone call until Monday on the way to the office.
Yeah.
So you're finding that balance.
Yeah. It's taken a minute.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure the family's better for it. The business, I'm sure, is better for it. Come on.
Yeah, like at one point, his daughter answered the phone and I called her babe. Or I called you babe. I can't remember.
I don't know.
He's like, hey, babe. Because we were talking so much that I was just, hey,
Automatic.
It was automatic. And now she chirps me when she sees me.
My 7-year-old daughter. Imagine.
Well, I mean, it's like Zeo, no?
We're like family. Yeah, it's like family now. Yeah,
So,
but we do have to have that separation.
no, of course.
It's too much.
Course. There is such thing as too much, right? But I'm sure it's also part of why the business is growing.
Well, I think because in those hours, like we're like obsessed. Like we're in full tilt. There's no distractions. There's nothing. It's just full dedication. We're in it to win it, like all day, every day. We're on. The switch is on. Like game face, ready to go, competition ready. Like, and I think that has to do with what we were talking about earlier. The sports, the competition, and it's like that just comes naturally. Like when we're there, it's game time and we play.
Yeah. Well, that's why you do it, right? I mean, you need to strive towards
try
something.
teaching that.
Oh,
How do you teach that?
how do you teach motivation?
You don't. You don't. If I got to motivate you, you're the wrong person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you can't teach your agents or adults that. They've had to have grown up with it.
Yeah.
That's why when you these kids now, like, you have to have them in sports.
Yeah.
I totally see the difference of, people that have played competitive sports throughout their life and people that didn't.
Haven't. Yes.
There's a big difference.
Well, if you don't know how to compete in business, then what happens?
You lose.
So if you don't teach them the skills, life skills, transferable skills that are learned by being in sport, any sport. I mean, we were talking earlier, soccer, hockey,
yeah, anything.
Then how do they grow, right? And how can they succeed? More importantly, when they grow up.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing that you do get out of sports is pressure.
Yes.
Right? If you're scared of the pressure, what are you going to do? You're going to curl up when there is, and then you're never going to teach yourself to move forward.
Yeah. What happens when it seems like there's no way out?
You're stuck in the corner. What do you do?
You start punching.
Yeah.
And you start swinging and you find your way forward, right?
That wild boar theory.
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the best results you get from yourself are actually when you realize there's only one way. And it's forward, right?
You become addicted to be obsessed.
You become addicted to being obsessed. Yeah. I'm going to use that one. Evan, we're going to use that one.
You can't. It's already copyrighted. We're sending
Send them the invoice.
So why don't you guys tell me about some of the challenges that you guys are facing, or some of the things that you guys are seeing now about running the brokerage in today's mortgage landscape?
So for me, the biggest challenge right now is separating being an agent broker, managing a book of business, and recruiting. Yeah. So when I'm in agent mode, I'm doing outbound calls, trying to get live connections to book appointments so I can do my presentation, to learn to get you to be my referral partner. That's me as an agent every day. And then I work on the business, calling past clients in the afternoon. And that's my routine. I have this block scheduled kind of mission that I work on. Now, my biggest challenge is, before I can do 10 outbound calls, make 3 live connections, get 1 booked appointment. Now I'm doing 10 outbound calls. I'm lucky I get 1 live connection, and I'm lucky if I get a whole week of 70, 80 calls, and I'm booking maybe 2 appointments. So the metrics are changing for me, which is it's less motivating as a salesperson because I like numbers.
Yeah.
So tracking this and trying to get agents and not poach. Right? There's some strict rules I live by where I'm not going to call another brokerage to poach an agent.
Yeah.
You got to be coming my way.
Yeah.
You have to reach out to me. So like,
correct.
if you see my ad, you click on it, it's because you have a challenge in the business. Very different.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge I face today. That and getting everybody that's on the team to drink the Kool-Aid that I'm drinking. Mm-hmm. That's the hardest challenge for me as the tutor.
Yeah,
the
but
coach.
that's a hard schedule to follow, right? Not everybody's built that way.
No,
so
it's
what
tough.
do you do? What do you do when you're not the guy or gal that can be that regimented to be on the, making the calls, sending the emails? What do you do?
Take a break.
Take a break.
Yeah. That's something Danny. So he's like, just walk away, bro. Go do something else. Mm-hmm. So I'll do that and I'll walk away. I'll do something else and try to get a win out of what the next thing I do, so I can come back pumped up for that task.
Yeah, find your win, find your motivation.
Yeah, I got to go find my win first. Like it's funny. I heard it this morning, but I guess we all do the same thing. I go chase the closest dollar and go get that closest dollar and make it a win.
Yeah,
and then I go back to the task I need to do, and that's something that maybe I don't say it often enough, but. Like I can wipe my board clean, I got nothing happening, and then I'll go chase the closest dollar. And I go bring that dollar in, maybe get a win, and then pump my motivation back up and then get back to the calls that I know that are hard. And obviously it's where the magic is, right? Is doing the hard stuff.
I've said this for years, and it takes me back to kind of my CIBC days when I was, in sales and similar, taking the calls, trying to find a way to convert these things. And I always used to say, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Yeah.
And, it's the same idea. You're chasing that close dollar, right? You deal with this one now because that's the dollar you can make and you can guarantee it. But you're still gonna chase all those two in the bush. You're still gonna find your way there. But let's make sure that you got this done first, right? And it's an approach that I've always taken. And similarly, it sounds like, and it's always been I'm going to say...
A lot of times people, like, let's say you're working on $1 million file and you got a $100,000 file. A lot of people will ignore the $100,000 one, even though it's the closest, and they'll go chase that million.
Yeah.
Go get the one that's closest to you first.
Give it to me.
And then get your motivation going. Get your win. The more wins you get, the better chance you'll have a better outcome for the week or the month or whatever it is that you're going after.
Well, for me, when I'm motivated, when I'm in my win column, and that they're starting to come on, I'm a different person, right? My motivation is up, my closing ratio goes up, and that's just because all of a sudden I went from 1 win to 2 wins to 3 wins, and all of a sudden I'm just like, I'm winning. But now it's that attitude that comes in. It's that winning attitude where it's
attitude, but you also start singing and dancing.
Well, you can't stop me, right? Because all of a sudden it sets in, but that's part of it. So sometimes when you've been down for a while and you haven't had a win.
What's your biggest challenge, Danny?
As a broker owner, and I think it's just both running the business and working on my business. And I keep telling Johnny, I need to separate myself. I need to go towards the business opposed to my own business. But I don't think we're there yet.
It's hard. How do you do it? How do you work on the business and work in the business? Because answer this, because I'm curious to know. If you're not closing deals, right, and bringing in business, how do you work on the business to scale? Isn't that a challenge?
It is a challenge, right? And it's something that a lot of people have asked, and the magic, the secret is in the support of my team, right? It's not. Although I am the broker owner, sole owner of the Uptown group of companies, it's about the support that I have that helps the business grow, right? So, the dual senior underwriter system that we have here, the fulfillment team that we have here, the support pieces for the real estate division. It's the way that we designed the group of companies, the way that I designed the group of companies, was strategically done so that the business could always ultimately operate without me having to be the one to do really anything. The only thing I have to do is market. And the rest is done by those that support the business, right? And, going back to, even the stuff that we're doing today, it's about collaboration. It's about, marketing, building brand, building partnerships. And those are the things that help now bring different aspects in the door, right? So, yeah, that's how I do it. And it's never easy.
It sounds easy.
Is it?
Right? No, but like that's what 'cause we're guilty of it too, but we're not going to post our bad days.
No one posts the bad days,
Yeah.
but that's what people want to know about.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we ask the questions, because there's always where there's good, there's going to be bad. Yeah. Right? But someone mentioned pressure. Who was I think it was, yeah, exactly. So, when we talk about pressure, it's the pressure that sets the 80-20, right? So the 20% are probably those that handle pressure a little bit better, right? And maybe that does come from sport.
One of the biggest things when I got into this business was handling the pressure, and then understanding that being perfectly poised for the rapid response. It's like one of my affirmations. And it took me a long time to really understand what that meant. When my coach said, "Johnny, you're perfectly poised for rapid response." And I'm like, yeah, it sounds great to say it out loud, right? Like perfectly poised, but what does that mean? It's exactly that. How do you handle pressure? And all my life experiences, whether it was competitive sports or whether it was dealing with shit, but being poised, right, for that, like under pressure. So
yeah, well,
I think I learned a lot of it recently on how to be poised in situations where you need to be.
Well, there's something to be said about learning how to lose, right? And
there's more learning in losing.
100%.
Yeah.
And if you're going to lose, I'd rather lose earlier in life and find a way forward. And if you can take those lessons, like we said, and apply those lessons to whatever that business is that you're passionate about, well, then you might find some success, right?
Well, absolutely. I think for me, I think a lot, if you go back then when I was losing, right? There was a time when I was losing a lot. I was losing often. Many would never think that I would be in this chair today.
No.
Right? Like there's a lot of doubt that, like there was a lot against me at one point. In my early 20s, it was like, man, I was lucky to get out of that world spin I was in. I was digging holes deeper than I was even seeing. It was crazy. So I think, like you said, like having learned that lesson early on in life and having to not deal with it now and learning that pressure, having a kid at 17, that changes you, man. Like, shit, man, this guy was telling me stories like go to school, go to work till 3, 4 in the morning. Like, that's crazy. At 17?
Yeah,
like
you had to learn.
That's far and in between. Who the heck did that? Not many.
No.
Not many. Change your life, have that responsibility, and then that structure changes everything.
The ability to handle pressure. It brings us right back, right?
Yeah.
Sports, I think it's a huge piece, right? Because it could be the little increments of any game. I'm a big soccer guy. I push my kids to play soccer. Like anybody that knows me knows. I'm like, they didn't have a choice. It was soccer or soccer, right? That was it. But it was because soccer, football, as we call it in my family, like it has taught me so much about life and how to handle pressure. Being the one to step up to take that penalty shot, that game-winning shot, you better be the one. Yeah. Not because I need you to be the kid whose name goes on the no, because I need you to learn how to handle pressure.
And have confidence.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because guess what? You might miss. That's reality.
Yeah.
Right? But you did it.
It's funny you say that. Last week, my son, he's starting to come out of his shell. He plays competitive soccer somewhat. He's getting there, but he's in a competitive group. And he's taking some shots. Now he's taking all the corner kicks on the right side of the field. And a free kick happened outside the box last week. And he took the shot, but it was a 2-touch. So when the ball rolled, he came in to hit it and it went off his toe. And he missed it. And he's like, "Dad, I was that close." And I'm like, "Oh, yes." Like,
he's getting there.
He's getting there. He's getting there. The pressure is not getting to him. He's coming out of his comfort zone. It's good. He's getting more confidence. The more shots you take, the more chances you take.
All about the reps.
Yeah.
Right? You got to, what's the saying? You miss 100% of the chances you don't take.
Yeah.
Right?
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah. Ching, ching. Right. So, but it's true, right? You got to take your shots, right? You might score, you might miss. It doesn't really matter.
Oh my God. You know how many times me and this guy do something and it's like, that didn't work.
Let's not talk about that one, right? Like, yeah, it's gonna
That
happen.
one?
No,
There's not one. There's not
no,
one.
no.
There's
It's the one.
Yeah.
Air quotes. Right?
Especially now because we're in a era where like things are moving real quick.
Yeah.
Faster than it ever has.
Yeah.
Right?
the ability
Automations,
to pivot in,
AIs, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like you could be like, wow, this can help out my business real quick, like quite a bit.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you decide to get into it and it ends up being fucking garbage.
Yeah, well, that's part of the problem, right?
It's too new.
It's too new. It's too much, too quick, right? Knowing when to spend, when to invest, when to hold back, when to stay on the sideline, right?
How do you make that judgment call? Because you don't want to be behind the eight ball.
No.
So you want to be parallel with the pivot. So you try, and then we make these adjustments, we make these pivots, we make these announcements. You know, because obviously you got to get the team engaged too. Like you're talking about your team, it's like, hey guys, we're going to make this adjustment. We're going to go in this direction a little bit, and it's like, shit,
Yeah.
like that was a bad move, right? Or not a bad move. Like you learn from it,
But it's part of growing.
It is.
Right? It's part of growing. It's part of growing the brokerage. It's part of growing as broker owners, right?
But I think if you're an agent out there and you're looking for, like, if you find somebody who's not doing that, that's where you shouldn't go.
No. As a mortgage professional, your goal is to grow your mortgage business. And you are sitting in a mortgage brokerage that is not growing. You would have to be absolutely insane to stay, because they are showing you the opposite of what you're looking to do, which is grow.
Exactly.
So if they're comfortable, that's great, but there's no growth in comfort.
Nothing.
You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm sure we've all heard this before, but are those that are leading the pack, are they actually comfortable being uncomfortable? Or have they just been doing it that way for so long?
Yep.
Right? So I don't know. It's a question. And for me, I'd rather find a way to do things a little bit different, right? I like being uncomfortable. I like change. And so when I hear about others that are, I'm going to say motivated by change or willing to change, it's something that I think we have to talk about, right? Because not everybody's doing it.
No, not a lot.
No.
Not a lot. I think the business itself, the broker business, is an old business.
Yes.
Right. And there's a lot of,
Oh, you see it when we're out at these conferences
yeah.
or we're at these events. Guys, we're the youngest ones there.
Yeah.
And we're in our
I didn't
40s,
want to
like,
say
you know.
it because I know this is getting published, but we are like, there's a group of us.
Yeah.
There's a group, and I love seeing these. Like, there's guys and gals that are out there, and I love seeing them at these events. We're the next generation.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're the next 30 years. You know, and some people are not even looking that far, right? They can't even see tomorrow. Like, I'm looking 10, 20, 30 years from now. Like, this is...
What's it going to be? Who's going to be around? What's it going to, listen, we all got into the business for a reason, right? We have our plans. We have our, our growth models, like good business people, good business owners. But, I think the big thing that, we want to talk about also, that it's about what makes you guys different. And so why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about, how does Yournesta support its agents and brokers that makes you guys unique, that makes you guys different?
For me, so right now it's funny you asked that, because that's the number one question I'm asking when I'm recruiting. What are you missing in your business? And in the intake form, one of the first three, I think one of the second drop down, it's got three. It's like you're stuck because you're digging in the minutia every day, as I call it, right? You're stuck digging in that admin. You wake up, you come downstairs, you're opening up a file, and then you're waiting for underwriters to get back to you. That's the wrong thing any agent should be doing. You should never, ever, ever do that. It's work on the business, then work in the business, okay? For me. So we provide you structure, we provide you guidance, we provide you accountability, we provide you the tutoring or the coaching, as you want to call it, but it's tutoring, technically. That's what separates us from everybody else. That's what makes us unique, is that we have these training modules, like the Hattie's, or the 7x70 program is a designed program to push you out of your comfort zone. We partake in daily activities as a team, as a group, as a company, as a culture. This is who we are. This is our identity. Like, if you want to be a part of this team, you got to participate. This isn't like make your own show and do your own shit. You're following this regiment and you're doing it. And that's the hardest part. But these agents are going through these things every day. we're there holding them accountable. We're calling them on their actions. Show me the work that you're supposed to be doing. No brokerage is doing that. Who the fuck is calling their agents, excuse my language,
It's fine.
and saying, how many outbound calls did you make today? How many live connections did you get?
Who's holding you accountable?
Nobody, but we are. And
we have tracking sheets, and all come reported to us. So we ask these questions. One thing we do at our brokerage is we do once a week. We go over files. We call it our
roll call.
We bring in our underwriter, our mortgage chief, as we call it, and me and Johnny will sit there, be like, we'll go through our entire pipeline in velocity, and we'll be like, okay, tell me about this file. Tell me about this file. You don't know about this file? Someone contact this agent, see what's going on, where they're at, if they need help, if they, where they stuck on this file, because we haven't touched it yet, and we make it mandatory to touch desk.
Yeah,
So there's rules in our brokerage. So we do we do touch desk and we have roll call. So roll call is Tuesday, Thursdays, and then Wednesdays is deal review. So on Tuesdays or Thursdays, agents will jump on a Zoom call or a Google Meet. All 20 agents jump on the Zoom, and then I'll pull up a live file from Velocity, and we'll comb that file. We'll talk about the income, the debts.
You'll do it with other agents live, so they
all
can learn.
20 agents are live. So now, Clyde, if you're an agent here, and whether you're today agent or you're 10 years into the business, sometimes the answers will come from the rookie. So I took this because they might be reading a policy from TD Bank that nobody else read yet.
Exactly.
So they're like, hey, that deal will fit at this. If you just do it like this, structure like this, or the offset on the rental, work it like this. So we're all learning and we're doing this together. No brokerage is doing that.
No, that's a collaborative approach that, is
Not
really
no
unique.
brokerage is doing it. I know we're doing it.
No, you're doing it, but it's like we're saying, what makes you different, right? That's a huge piece. The ability to bring people together that are willing to do that is unique, because that's a whole different model.
Yeah,
right?
this is our time that we give. That is not something they don't pay for it. There's no additional fees at our brokerage. It's not like we charge for the training. This is what we offer as a brokerage. We give you this in the brokerage. I open up Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we do roll call. We took this from the police force is where it came from, and I've been doing this roll call for 20 years.
Very good.
Every sales team I've ever built.
And that's part of it. It's the sales culture.
Yeah. Right? How many calls did you do yesterday? Who'd you talk to? What objections did you have? What was your rebuttal? How did you handle it? What's the file you're working on? What's your strengths? What's your struggle? What's the income? Like, we do all of this. Then okay, perfect. This deal's ready. Go make your notes. Turn the file over to the underwriter. Let's go. And we just rock on.
The beauty of what you just said is all of the skills that are needed to put all that together are transferable to anything that you do.
You could do it in any business.
You could do it in any business.
Oh yeah. If you listen, like on our pod, we talk about it all the time. Like, these things are transferable. You can sell insurance. You can sell cars. You can do door to door.
Exactly.
You can be a police officer. That's what I got it from the police officers.
Exactly.
They go in a room, roll call. Clyde, what was your calls like yesterday? I had one domestic, I had one car accident, I had one shooting. Tell me about them. Well, the domestic, I went there, she was yelling at the husband, and I said X, Y, and Z. And Danny, the veteran, says, why the heck would you say that?
Yeah.
Obviously, she reacted that way. If you handled that objection with this rebuttal,
Exactly.
it would have brought and escalated the file back down. No different than when a client says to me, what's your best rate? Is it the rate you're worried about, or is it the cancellation penalties? Like, you got to know how to divert and reflect and those things. Those are the things that we talk about on our roll calls.
Yeah, but that's experience. I'm gonna say the experiences that you've gained have really helped set that up.
Yeah, when you knock on thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of doors, and you've sold hundreds and thousands of cars, and Danny's built businesses and dealt with thousands of customers like this. We took our collaborative approach, and this is our experience. But it's not just ours, because we got agents. There's humans that have life experiences, and they might, like, Wendy might say, "Oh, I have a client who said this," or another agent, she might say, "Well, I had something similar like that, and this is what I said. This was my approach." So it's not just us; it's everybody. That collaborative group discussion, it works. It works well.
So, what are some ways that agents, brokers, that they can find ways to work together, so that way, they can help continue to build and grow their business?
Like in our business?
In our business, or even outside. I mean,
Ask
realtors
questions.
ask questions. I love that one.
Ask questions. Yeah. How else do you do it?
Imagine people were willing to say, "Hey, Johnny, can you tell me a little bit about your business? What do you actually do over there at Yournesta?
Oh my goodness. When we first started, me and Danny, there's a broker that when we decided to join DLC, we had no clue what we were doing. I've never done this before. I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't even we knew mortgages. I knew sales and marketing, but
That too, but it was also COVID, so you weren't really out. So
No,
it wasn't.
that was
a
tough
little
too,
bit harder
yeah.
to get information, right? Yeah, face to face and meet new people. So
we found a broker that we spent hours with. Show us your process. What does that look like? How does your intake look like? What is the application like? Everything about the business, and he took the time and showed us the whole thing. Danny and I made notes. We went back and we made we created our process and made it things. And if we didn't go and ask questions, I think that's the biggest thing in this business. You got to collaborate.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is by asking questions.
Yeah. It's weird. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yet it's weird that a lot of agents, a lot of brokers, they just simply, I don't know, they just won't do it. They won't reach out.
I had one guy, I asked him a question once and he's like, I don't know, Johnny, I think I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest.
Was it me?
No. No, you've never said that to me.
I joke. No, that's the whole point of what we're doing here, right? It's the willingness to sit down and have the conversations, right? Even though, yeah, we're a bunch of sharks swimming around in a hot tub, right? But at the same time, there's opportunity to find ways to work together, opportunity to find ways to find a better path forward, right? Especially when we plan on being here for a long time. Right?
Yeah, but the other thing too is I think the other way we could do it is by sharing, right? So ask questions and share.
Yes, 100%.
Share information. Even, the little things, and I'm guilty of it too, but if I had to say it out loud, like what would be awesome is in our business, there hasn't been that much spotlight other than the one that's on me right now. There hasn't been much spotlight in our business. And us getting on camera and doing these talks and having this conversation and talking about the business, we collab well with realtors in referral business, right?
Yes.
But I think the mortgage brokers, we can collab together just the way we are right now, right?
Yes.
Like being on each other's shows, sharing content, liking, commenting, sharing, those things is how we can help each other.
100%.
So asking questions and sharing and helping.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way our business is going to grow for brokers.
Exactly.
How are we going to get the consumer away from the brick and mortar if they don't know about us? But if I'm not sharing who Clyde is and Clyde's not sharing who I am, no different than how realtors share realtors.
Exactly.
Or, and they do it well.
They do it very well.
They do it really well. But other businesses should adapt that model. Like if you're an insurance agent, if you're a car salesman, why aren't you talking about the guy at Mazda? It's the smartest marketing.
Exactly.
Pepsi is next to a Coca-Cola machine for a reason. It drives choice.
I used to say, there's, I think we talked about it earlier, the whole McDonald's Burger King thing, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We're providing choice. We're providing options.
Yeah,
and
McDonald's is not sitting in a courtroom serving papers to Wendy's, or you're entering my market share. No, they're like, okay, how can we market together? You're going to take that billboard. We'll take that billboard.
Exactly, no problem.
You take the west traffic. We'll take the east. We'll take the east traffic. That's why gas stations are across the street from each other.
Thank you.
Like
no problem.
Yeah,
use that. We'll put a big median in between, and we'll make sure, right?
Yeah, you can't go left, and they can't go right.
Exactly, and everybody wins.
Yeah,
right.
So I think the collaborative is what's needed for our business.
Agreed.
More of that, and just asking questions with each other. If you're stuck and you need help, like we don't have all the answers. We're still
not the game, but the business is always changing, and it changes very rapidly, as we just seen.
Yeah.
From November, like all these new policies just came into play, and then you got the lenders that will flip a switch overnight.
Yeah, you got to adjust.
And we got to adjust quick, and there's way too much information going around. So, by collaborating is probably the best way to help each other.
Yeah, I think there's power in collaboration, right? Because your strength may not be my strength may not be your strength, but at the end of the day, we're all willing to sit in a room, have the conversation, and figure out, okay, what's the best path forward, right? And, I've sat with other broker owners previously and had similar conversations. So now I think it's just time that I do it, because I keep saying, okay, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. So now Ev's going to make sure he holds me accountable. We're going to get everybody in a room, right? And let's make sure that we are helping each other grow, right? Because there's so many of us that are like-minded, but again, it's that initiative piece.
Sometimes I think there's hesitation But
why?
if I don't know, in the industry itself, right? But we go to these events and everybody's so cheerful and lovely and beautiful. Like all the events I go to, I've had a great time. And to be honest, every time I made the phone call, we've all been helpful. I call agents and brokers all the time, like, hey, I got this file, I'm stuck. What do you do? Oh, just call this person. Here's an email. And we collab. We just got to do more of it. And we got to make it public.
Well,
that's what I think that needs to be. We're so fun because administrative work, which is what we're in administrative work, is so much more on the back end. I think if we just show it, we got to show it.
Yeah.
How do you show?
How do you show?
Yeah.
How do you show? That's you got any insight on that one?
It's
How do you show mortgages? I mean, we're doing that. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
This is it, right?
but we don't have that beautiful shiny home.
But we do
behind us.
because without the money that we give, then the home doesn't close.
But everybody else, they could display it on their social.
So do we start saying, hey, when I give you a mortgage, I got to do an Instagram tour of your house?
So there was a time when I first started that we used to do just closed.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just you would do a just closed post.
Yeah.
Just funded.
Just
right?
funded. Yeah.
So, but
would you go to the house or would you
take the MLS picture and you
right?
Oh
put
man,
it in Canva?
I did that for years.
Yeah. So
right?
how shiny is
Yeah.
that, right? Like,
No.
And you're not
not that
literally
sexy.
you're not gonna go to the house. Hey, I just closed this, and you're not because we don't have the time. Man.
No.
I wish I
Why
could.
you
say
don't want to go take videos?
It's hard to do that.
as nice as it is and as fun as it is.
But you know what the other thing too is the sheer volume. How do you, like when you're doing 10, 12 deals a month, how do you go and shoot 12 videos?
You can't.
You don't.
No, it's impossible.
Yeah, it is.
It's about managing your time,
Yeah.
right? So unfortunately, the videos go to the side, right?
And it doesn't become so. I think I don't know how you bring spotlight into us. Other than what the market's doing for us already, and the conversation is the hottest topic, the mortgage rates and the business itself, and obviously we got a key important role in the whole transaction. But how do you bring video to that?
Yeah, how do you bring it to light? How do you make it the thing that?
We're trying to figure it out. So if you have the answer, let us know.
Well, I mean, I looked at my crystal ball this morning, and it told me that you just got to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting the good fight, right? There's a reason why people are talking about you guys are doing good things, right? I'm sure the numbers are growing in the business.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Think about where you
we
started
hit
and
some
where you are.
milestones this year, which are pretty cool.
Exactly.
Jumped
Congratulations.
a couple tiers.
Yeah. Hey, it's good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. No one said it was easy.
Or else they'd all be doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. Right?
It is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's been fun.
Well, if it's not fun, you got to choose something new, right? You have to enjoy doing what you
Are
do.
you kidding me? In the morning, I got so much energy. I walk in, I dance, and then the first thing happens. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, hey, we're all gonna have our moments. We're all gonna have our days, right? And Evan's laughing because sometimes I have moments and days that last a long time.
That's why there's a bar nearby.
Yeah, it might be one in my office, but it happens. It happens. So knowing how to deal with it.
What's your drink of choice?
I'm a big tequila guy.
Yeah,
I'm a big tequila guy.
All right, so then when you get to our show, you got to bring your favorite bottle of tequila.
You tell me when, and I'll be there.
That was another Italian. There's this girl I know. She's
Be careful.
Pure
Be
Canadian.
Careful.
No,
Be careful.
No,
I can't edit this.
That's fine. I make fun of her all the time. She talks on TikTok. She's an agent in the business. She's amazing. And she always talks like this. And I'm like, are you sure you're not Italian? She goes, somewhere down the line, I'm sure I am. So it's funny when it's a joke.
No. Yeah, it's my wife's Italian, and as I said, I've been in Woodbridge. I don't know anything else. I've been in Woodbridge for so long that's it was me and the cows, right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful. It's a long time. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Anything that you guys want to add before we kind of find our way forward?
What else you got there?
Well, I'm gonna pull one out here. Ready?
Let's go.
Danny's got the answer.
He's
figured it out before he figured it out.
I know, right? So obviously, mortgage marketplace has been kind of crazy, right?
It has.
Things are shifting. We kind of talked about it a little bit. They're shifting pretty rapidly. So how do you guys find your way forward? How do you stay ahead of the changes that are coming in order to be good leaders good broker owners?
I'm going to say mostly with education. Being on top of whether it is lender products or strategies on how to close deals and passing it down to your agents, I think that's, I'm going to say, my best way of being on top of the quick moving market that we're in right now.
So a lot of it is you'll find the win, you'll find an opportunity, and then you're sharing that. Is that a rapid response? Is that a rapid communication?
Yeah, the education equals value, right? And then the value exceeds price, and that's how we.
I feel like last month I probably lost 2 or 3 renewals. Can't beat these
Some of the pricing.
some of the pricing.
Yeah.
And it's been all over my mind. And here I'm like, I got to find a better strategy. There's got to be a way where I'm going to figure out a strategy to keep these guys. And I feel like I just found that this week. And now it's like, now I'm like trying to play it out with my next client. So now I can start to introduce this whole strategy to these agents so that, they're not the ones that are going to be losing out on these clients. Because the biggest thing with us, I mean, a lot of our agents are, I'm going to say, starting off right from the ground floor.
Well, we talked about it earlier. You guys are willing to train new agents.
A lot of our agents are within the first 2 years of their business.
Yeah, and not everybody's willing to do that. There's a select few that are willing to train new agents. I know we do it, you guys do it, and then who does it and who does it well, right? Because I'm sure there's other brokerages outside of ours, of course, that do it and do it well.
100%.
But, who's willing to do it well? And again, what's their theory? How do they go about it?
Doing this method with with these agents is when they get a deal, they hold it and they're so scared to lose it, even though it was never going to be a good deal at all, right? So when they get these rates, which are coming around right now, that are
you can't compete.
We can't compete with them. That's reality.
Yeah, if it's just rate, if you compete on rate, you lose on rate, right? How do you add value?
You can't do anything against that.
No,
it doesn't change the process. Lead to application, application to commitment, commitment to close deal. How many leads equal applications? How many applications do you need to get to commitments? Now, if you're writing 5 commitments and if you're not losing them, if you're not losing 1 or 2, you're not in business.
Yeah.
You got to lose business to have a business. And if you can get and understand that. Now, if you got 1 file you're working on and you're losing 1 file every month, I get it. It's tough.
It's going to hurt.
It is going to hurt. You got to write more business.
That's the answer.
That's the answer. There's no.
You got to find the strategy that's going to help this agent with that 1 file hopefully close.
Or do both.
Well, of course do both. Of course do both, but I'm just...
But the market is not the issue. No. There's a lot of gurus will say, it's not the market, it's your marketing. And it's not the market. I've been in many markets in sales. I've been through booms and glooms, ups and downs. 2017, great. 2019, down, or vice versa.
One of the two.
Yeah, right.
We're always in business, though.
Yeah, and then we just went through the up and the down.
Yeah,
but we're growing at a rapid pace year over year. And we just went through the biggest, hardest years, and we grew big.
Yeah.
And we did it because it's not the market, it's our marketing.
Yeah.
Right? It's the values
growing. The business is growing. The team is growing.
Yeah.
But so that's all.
That's why it's easy to say it.
Yeah.
But for the agent and for us, like if we're not finding solutions, like figuring it out before we can figure it out, if we're not looking at products, solutions, roll calls, we've messed up on this file. We lost this deal. Okay, what could we have done to save it? Then we go back and we circle, and Danny sits there and he starts getting analytical, and he's like, no, I got to find a solution. And he goes and finds a solution. Now he's going to stick the next one. And it's like, okay, guys, I figured it out.
Perfect.
And now we can move forward.
It's not going to, right?
Yeah. But if we're not doing it in the background, if we're not sharing this info with the team, how do you provide value? And the education is the value.
Exactly. Right. And it's interesting. It's refreshing is the word I'll use. It's refreshing to hear because not a lot of broker owners take this approach. A lot of, owners might take a different approach. So it's good to hear, right? And it's why like I said earlier, it's why you guys are sitting here. I didn't need to know, I already knew. because it's something about you guys. You guys are different, right? Just the way that you go about it. You can see the way you're going about it, and it's
It's nice
really
being
great to
on
see.
this side of on the mic, eh?
You know what? It's different. It's different. It
is
definitely
different
is
as a
different,
guest.
right?
It's nice.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, get used to it. Maybe do a couple of podcasts. We'll bring you guys back. We could talk about the growth of the business. We can do a little bit of information sharing, even.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to ask you one more before we wrap.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
let's do it.
When we're talking, we're going to talk about brokers and agents for a second. And, you know, being that the mortgage marketplace is changing, right? We're talking about marketing. We're talking about, you know, how to get a deal over the line. What are some of the other, I'm going to say, what are some of the other things, the other value adds that you guys can or do bring to the table that will help that new agent that is, you know, looking at getting into the mortgage industry or has recently gotten into the mortgage industry?
One word for me.
Go ahead.
Touch desk.
Touch desk.
Yeah. You have to touch desk. Should I elaborate?
I think you're going to need to.
I'm waiting for the.
What's touch desk?
I don't know. Johnny just went touch desk. I know Johnny. Johnny's not just touch desk. Johnny follows up with touch desk.
Yeah.
Where is it coming?
So in the sales industry, in sales and marketing, when you have a sales agent and you're a sales manager and you got a team, right, and you're growing your team, every salesperson has to touch desk. It's just the rule. So if I'm on a sales floor and I'm selling furniture and Clyde's looking to buy this chair, and Clyde can't get the sale, Clyde's got to be like, listen, I'll be right back. You got to go see your manager, touch the desk, and say, hey, Mr. Manager, I got Clyde here. He's looking to buy this chair. He's not really going to make a decision today, and blah, 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 blah. So now in the mortgage world, I just took the same approach. Clyde, you got a file?
Yeah.
You get to call me, you get to call Danny, you get to call a senior agent, the underwriter, and you get to touch desk. Hey, Johnny, can you open file 12, like you open up Velocity, okay? And it's open up file 21173. Okay, 21173, we have a Google Drive, and the docs are inside the Google Drive. They're labeled, they're organized accordingly. Income, property, IDs, whatever it is. And she's like, okay, I'm building this file, I'm stuck. The GDS and TDS are over 50, what do I do? And now we touch desk. I comb the file, correlate the documents, and we build it together, find solutions, talk about product, programs, and then the agent gets to move forward with the file. That is the biggest thing that we do, is touch desk, alongside everything else we just discussed.
Touch
It's
desk.
called touch desk.
I love it.
So before a file gets to our underwriter, it's touched me and Johnny.
Yeah.
And truly, I mean,
It changes
once-
everything.
Once you've been, we look at so many files now. It's like I can go through a file in 3-4 minutes.
Well,
I can I already see your problem.
yeah.
You know, and, okay, tell me about their income quickly. Okay, pretty good at it. I found this problem.
Exactly.
Right. And I don't know.
How do we find $13,000? Do they have financials? Can we gross up the financials? Are we going to TD at 80% or going to 100% over here? Like, if you don't know these things and you can't be quick to solve problems,
If you don't know how to pivot.
you got to know.
Yeah.
So touching desk is we introduce it. I don't know any of the brokerage that does it. I've been in the car business so long that I've incorporated so many processes that what we do is kind of like the same, right? So
Well,
if
you build from the education or the transferable skills that you've gained from other businesses, right?
Yeah, and we use it and we incorporate them here. So the agents touch desk with us. They call, they message, hey, do you mind if I touch desk? It's interesting now, but we get a text. It's like, hey, do you mind if I touch desk with you on file?
And you'd love it when you get to, like, you're hearing the cultural speak, right?
Yeah.
The language that you guys create that makes you guys unique, right?
It's interesting when I say it now because, we have created something.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the agents touch desk. It's pretty cool, actually, yeah.
Sometimes you got to take a moment to step back and enjoy your
Because we're in
wins.
it every day,
Yeah.
right? So it's, we've done something pretty cool. Touch desk is unique to us, for sure. Yeah, and when we present that to the agents and we're trying to recruit, it's like, you do what? Touch desk.
What are you talking? That's I'm like, okay,
what's touch desk?
what is a touch desk,
Yeah.
right? So a unique spin on the file review. Well done.
Yeah, we do file review before it gets turned over to the thing, and we'll say things like, "Hey, make sure you keep this out. Don't incorporate that. Don't mention it, or make sure you're mentioning this."
Yeah. How do you mitigate against it? What are the things you need to say? Yada.
Exactly. Well done. Then here's your notes, and Danny's got this pretty cool system. Everything that's automated is everything Danny. The way the system works, where you can find documents, how you can find your notes, how to have your doc checklist and compliance, all these things. It's just super smooth, and it's nice. Yeah, a lot of those things. Yeah,
the beautiful mind.
Sure. I think it's the engineer.
Sure. It's something about the process, right? Something about the process.
I think the architect does the design and the engineer makes sure it all works and the loads are fine and there's nothing that's going to collapse, right?
Someone triple checks the double check.
The engineer. I'm going to put in my signature.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Founder and engineer. Signing off.
CFO, managing partner, agent level 2, because you got all that in there.
Oh my God.
And engineer.
And engineer.
Oh yeah.
Well done. Well done.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, mortgages. It's a lot.
Yeah, but it's not just mortgages. It's a whole business. It's a business.
I think we're probably one of the few businesses that keep us on our toes so much with what's changing. And if we close an eye for a minute, we fall behind.
Yeah. You can't slow down. You can't stop. You get left behind.
In this business, yeah. Yeah, fast.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to leave it on that note. That was kind of like sad.
Sorry.
Okay, one more question. Go. Ask one more question. What time is it?
Don't say. I know. We went long. We
started late too.
Yeah, I know. We did, right? We had so much conversation. It was just like, as I said, we're going to use some of the beginning. We'll use that as well because this was great though. This was great.
I like sharing what, because I think, like you said, we need to share. What are you doing? I would love to hear other people's practices.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do to grow your business? What are you doing to get business? What are you doing during the business?
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear all of that. Like,
I don't think we would have been a brokerage where we're at right now if it wasn't for that one broker that put out 2 or 3 hours of his time to tell us, listen, this is how I run my brokerage. This is what I see works. And we left there. We're like, you know what? We're going to implement this. We're going to maybe try that. I don't know if I like that, but I really like doing this. And it sort of got us to where we're at.
Well, he was willing to share. Right?
It still is to this day. Like, I pick up the phone and call him, and he's like, Johnny, I'll call you right back. And he'll call me back. Hey, what's up, bud? What do you need? And I'm like, I got this problem.
It's not even that. Like, he's super excited.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves helping. I'll tell you off air who it is. He's a super, super, super stud.
Well, some people love growing businesses, right? Yeah. And some people love growing people. I shouldn't say businesses. Some people love growing people, seeing people grow. Yeah. It's part of.
But he's passionate about being a mortgage broker, and that's hard to find.
Yeah.
There's not many of us out there. Some of them are just mortgage brokers because they got the designation.
But then what?
Nothing. They don't want to recruit. They don't want to train. They just have the name. Yeah, but I did it for a purpose. When I became an agent, I was like, okay, I'm an agent. Then I got my broker license, and I was like, I'm gonna go be a principal broker. I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do. I'm gonna make, this unique brokerage.
You want to do something different. You want to disturb the mortgage industry.
I want people to touch desk.
Listen, as I said, first time I've heard it put that way. Right. So good on you. Right. Good on you. Because if you can find a way to do it, a way that is uniquely yours and a way that just sets you apart, and I've used this time and time again. And since, we had Doreen Walsh DLC on the podcast, and, she said it best, your vibe attracts your tribe. And those that work the way you work, those that are regimented the way you're regimented, those that
your vibe attracts
your tribe.
Oh,
right?
Johnny's gonna use that one.
Well, yeah. Don't thank me, thank her, right? And it was when she said that to me, it really resonated with me, and it also allowed me to do what I do, which a little bit of deep dive on the business. I'm big on personalities, and when I hire, right, internal staff, especially, I do personality assessments. I want to know about you, right? But I also want to make sure that you work within the organization, right? so that way it's harmonious and we
Hire the
can,
personality, train the skill.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Because a mortgage is a mortgage is a mortgage. Can we be real? It's understanding the processes, the way to mitigate risk, have the conversation, so on and so forth. And if it doesn't work here, then it's going to work there. And if it doesn't work there, then guess what? It's definitely going to work here, because you just have someone that's willing to finance it. Maybe it's private, right?
Yep.
So, understanding the personality and making sure that it works. It's
Amazing.
yeah. I'm not even sure how we got there. I'm not even sure how we
I
got.
don't know. We just went down a loophole there.
Yeah. Anyhow. So, why I think this has been great, guys.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I was
Thanks for
looking
having
forward
us.
to. I was looking forward to it, and I'm happy we did. And I'm sad that it took so long. So
Yeah,
let's make sure it
I'm
happens
glad
again.
we got to sit here and answer these questions. This is definitely a milestone in my book, in our books.
Yeah. Well,
We've been saying that we want to get on people's stages for a minute, and now we're on your stage. So thank you for having us.
of course.
Truly an honor. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Both of you. And with that, Uptown Experts, we're out.